The danger with LGBTQ is the plus.
Why that?
Do you know what plus means? Any other thing can be added to it. So the moment you pass it, those unnatural things that will be added onto it will be forced down our throat.
Honestly speaking, and this is my vivid opinion, I really don't care what people do with their sexuality. What they do behind their closed doors, what they decide to do, what they decide to get intimate with, that's their thing.
Hello, Abusiafo. But Sunburst medicated powder. Now, on your form. Hey, say when a man in swans one years is you, never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what so.
Or
don't. It's what now I'm on why you say. A crow. Take a career, a yam, a crow, a juniper de aboso, and nunye, Sunburst medicated ointment, a bebwao.
My possum, to me.
Ni Pedro biye onia ments na ho ma honam ya enwu wani maase what poso complain nyina et so betwa koto Sunburst herbal balm ye wonia ma papa ye from mama Sunburst products edutwem
Obenya Sunburst products our pharmacies any herbal shops to phone friend 0554 907 393 FDA agidwadi enkratuo yatum.
The news this past week, all the headlines have been about LGBTQ in Ghana. Following the visit of the Vice President Kamala Harris to Ghana and the conversation that she started, it has sort of rekindled and revived the conversation about the Pride community, their rights and their place in the African traditional society and the African modern society as we know it right now. Now, a lot has changed within the first 2 years leading to this date. A couple of years back, the president of Ghana had taken a very hard stand on LGBTQ. And for those who do not know, the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, sides heavily with the church because the church has a great influence on Ghana, not just in terms of spirituality, but politics, leadership, and governance. And this is what he had to say.
I've said this before, and let me in conclusion stress again that it will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legal. That same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen in my time as president. Let me repeat. It will never happen in my time as president.
Fast forward 2 years later, the tune has changed. And the reason why the tune has changed is because the position that Ghana is currently, it's looked at as the up-and-coming hub of West Africa, and in the international community, Ghana is having a lot of grace and favor because the president knows how to talk when he goes to these public platforms. He knows how to sell the country, how to sell the agenda. Ghana prides itself in being a very democratic country, freedom of speech, political peace and stability and tolerance is the order of the day here. And so if you can be tolerant and accommodating to all the other things, why can't you be accommodating to the rights and the existence of the pride in the queer community? And every time he has done international interviews, the issue comes up over and over again, and over the years we've seen him sort of soften his stance on LGBTQ. And most recently, when Vice President Kamala Harris was in Ghana, the question came up, and the way Kamala Harris answered the question sort of set our President Akufo-Addo, because the way she answered the question, there was no way that the president could have taken another direction without shooting himself in the foot. Anyway, let's listen to what both of them had to say.
I have raised this issue, and let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
Ms. Young, so thank you for the question. First of all, we don't have any such legislation here in Ghana. A bill has been proposed to the Parliament of Ghana, which has all kinds of ramifications, which is now being considered by the Parliament. It hasn't been passed, so the statement that there is legislation in Ghana to that effect is not accurate. No legislation. The bill is going through the Parliament. It's going through the Parliament. The Attorney General has found it necessary to speak to the committee about it regarding the constitutionality or otherwise of several of its provisions, and the Parliament is dealing with it. At the end of the process, I will come in. But in the meantime, the Parliament is dealing with it. And I have no doubt that the Parliament of Ghana will show, as it's done in the past, first of all, its sensitivity to human rights issues, as well as to the feelings of our population, and will come out with a responsible response to the proposed. The legislation was a legislation that is being provided as a private member's bill. This is not an official legislation of the government, but it is one that has been mooted by a handful of private members. So we will see what the final outcome of it. But my understanding from a recent discussion I had with the chairman of the committee, the substantial elements of the bill have already been modified as a result of the intervention of the Attorney General. We will see what the final outcome will be, and that is the stage at which I will also have the opportunity to prevent.
You can just tell the change of tonation, even the body language. He's more relaxed, he's not as aggressive, and he's not defensive. Kamala Harris already set the stage by saying this is a human right, and if you say any other thing that contradicts that, then the media is going to run with it. International community is going to brand you and term you as the person who's not very keen to uphold human rights in your country. I don't know if that makes sense, because at the end of the day, these are people and you have to protect them. Ghana has been in the headline in Martha's Pride community and their rights and well-being with regards to their LGBTQ bill. Uganda most recently passed a bill, and theirs is a little bit more harsher than the Ghanaian bill. The Ghanaian bill that was proposed by Ningo Pram Member of Parliament Sam George dictates that Ghanaian family values and proper sexual rights have to be upheld. Now, under the chieftaincy that governs the customs and traditions of Ghana, marriage should be between a man and a woman, and the bill will prohibit marriage of a man and a man. The bill will also prohibit people from the Pride community from adopting children. It will also ensure that they cannot start families in whichever way. We've seen gay couples, mothers or fathers be able to have children even biologically, but the bill will prohibit that. The bill further goes on to put a gag order on media houses and NGOs that will do any advocacy work with regards to the right of people in the queer community. And so this bill was proposed, and Akufo-Addo in his speech, if you listen, said, oh, we've reviewed the bill and we're sort of watering it down and we'll ensure that it's a tolerant bill in as much as it should reflect the Ghanaian values and the Ghanaian society. We're going to ensure that it's still mindful of human rights. And the proprietor of the bill, Sam George, came out guns blazing, calling Akufo-Addo like a hypocrite and calling out the American hypocrisy and saying, listen, the bill is still as rough and as tough as it was. And the president had an opportunity to call out the West and tell them that he has sworn allegiance to the Ghanaian constitution, and this is what the Ghanaian constitution dictates. But instead, he played second fiddle to the American vice president for his own personal agenda or whatever national agenda he wants to make out of it. Anyway, let's listen to what Sam George had to say.
Well, two things. I thought that President Akufo-Addo would have used this opportunity to send a clear message to the world and to the country that his fidelity to the Ghanaian people and to the Constitution of Ghana, the 1992 Constitution that he sworn oath to uphold, and would have sent a clear message that Ghana is not going to entertain any expressions of homosexuality. And then secondly, I expected that he would have shown, it was known that this would have been a topic, and I expected that he would have shown that he was on top of his brief. On the 2 points, President Akufo-Addo goofed and failed. First and foremost, on the point of knowing his brief, the president said that the bill has been substantially changed and that it's a private member's bill. And, well, the president doesn't know what he's talking about. The bill has not been substantially changed. The bill remains as tough and as rigid as it was. The focus of the bill has not changed. The objective of the bill has not changed. His Attorney General has given the bill a clean bill of health. At the last meeting that we had with the Attorney General is on record to have stated that he's happy with the position of the bill and that the bill was going to deal with discrimination in our current legal jurisprudence and expand the frontiers of our legal jurisprudence. So clearly the president needs to check his brief on the bill. When the bill is laid before the House, you realize that the focus of the bill, which has to do with voiding marriages, preventing them from adopting children or fostering children, the clamp down on platforms and media houses that are going to do promotion and advocacy or push those materials still remains in force.
Hello, Abusiafo. But Sunburst medicated powder. Now, on your form. Hey, say when a man in swans one years is you. Never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what so.
Or
it's what now I'm a why you say. A crow. Sakakarere, a yam, a crow, a juniper bosso. And only Sunburst medicated ointment. A bebwa.
my possum, to me.
Who when Pedro be Onia, Ments na home when I'm out and who when the massy. What possible complaining na at so betra, Cotto Sunburst herbal balm. You're from Mama Sunburst. Sunburst products, a duchum.
Obenya Sunburst products, our pharmacies, any herbal shops name. To phone friend 0551 907 393. FDA, I did Jadian Kratoyatum.
All expressions of it, be it lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, are all here, are all in there. So when he says the bill has been watered down, he doesn't know what he's talking about. 1. 2, when the president says that the failed to tell her point blank that Ghana is not going to listen to what she says. I mean, Mrs. Kamala Harris should be the last person to come and talk about human rights in Ghana. Barely 2 hours ago, in the country where she's vice president of the United States, a Ghana woman, a lady in her 20s, walked into a school with pits, shot and killed 3 school children and 3 adults. Those are the human rights of her country's citizens that Kamala Harris should be worried about. She's vice president of America, and on a daily basis, more people die from gun violence in the U.S. than malaria kills in Africa or in Ghana. That should be of concern to her. Kamala Harris is a woman of color. If she wasn't a senator first or wasn't the vice president of America, she most likely could have possibly been a victim, like other black Americans like George Floyd, of white police brutality because she's a woman of color. Those are the human rights issues Kamala Harris should be worried about because those are what the people who voted for her in America are expecting for her to focus on. Right. Deal with the senseless gun killing in the U.S. of school children. Children's lives matters, black lives matters. Those are the things Kamala Harris should be thinking about. And so Ghana's president should not be finding it difficult to tell her in her face, like other African presidents have, to even presidents of America, that look, my fidelity is to the constitution of my country and not what you think. So if Kamala Harris thinks that LGBTQ issues are issues of human rights, that's her opinion. Her opinion is not worth any paper written on the paper on which is written in Ghana. Right. What matters in Ghana is the 1992 Constitution. And the president must remember, that is what he swore an oath to, not the opinion of the U.S. vice president. The U.S. they're cowards. The United States is a coward country. Why didn't they issue threats to Qatar? Why did they not stop their U.S. male team from playing in Qatar? Why did they not issue sanctions against Qatar? Are they not trading with Saudi Arabia? Is Saudi Arabia not one of their biggest traders? Is the U.S. not selling arms? The U.S. sells over almost $1 trillion of military hardware to Qatar and Bahrain. Is it not hypocrisy? And in those countries, homosexuality is punished by death. So why are they coming to flex their muscles on African countries that are saddled with poor leadership that has made us a poor countries? They're cowards. Cowards are the ones who look for weaklings to fight on them. If America wants to flex its muzzle, it will flex its muzzle on Turkey. It will flex its muzzle on Russia, which has also banned homosexuality. It should flex its muzzle on Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Bahrain, who punish homosexuality by death. And then we will take America serious. But I mean, if you want to flex your muscle on weaklings, you're a coward. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, when it comes to our debt situation, why are we begging the IMF for $3 billion over 3 years? It's simply because we have a presidency and a government that has been profligate and has been reckless with its spending. The amount of debt and graft in our government, if we even dealt with 50% of it, we would not need to be going to the IMF. So President Akufo-Addo has laid his bed, he will lie in it. It is his own responsibility to clean the mess in his government and take us out of an IMF program. It is not for us to bend over our cultures and tradition because he has been reckless with his spending and live like an Arabian night when he doesn't have the resources for it. So that is neither here nor there. We won't trade our culture and tradition because we have a reckless president. No.
Now, this matter is a very heavily politicized matter, and the bill will be debated before Parliament before it is passed. And if you want to know that things are going to get a little bit tough before they get better, is even the Speaker of Parliament, Bagbin, has come out to say that whatever the president said was just him being a politician and saying what he needed to say, because with the bill being tabled in Parliament, they're not going to allow members of Parliament to be intimidated. They're going to ensure that members of Parliament just debate the bill in the most political and democratic way. And from the way he sounded, it's like they're very much looking forward to passing the bill and ensuring that it comes to pass and becomes a law. And he said that the president is not going to interfere with the bill. They will ensure that they pass the bill, and it's up to the president to append his signature for it to become a law. But he also sort of disproved some of the things that the president was saying in terms of laws are made in Parliament, and Parliament and only Parliament has the right to make laws, and nobody else can twist and turn that in a way that works or favors them.
We need to legislate. Our friends just passed their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. And so what are you afraid of? If you have the whole people behind you, if God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world, that is God giving you that command. If somebody says, please don't multiply, how can that person be strong? I don't only speak this way in Ghana. Even at the last meeting we attended in IPU at Bahrain, anybody who listened to my speech, there were sentences on this matter. Luckily, maybe because it's a Muslim country, they applauded me. If they're somewhere else, they will be asking questions. As the vice president just did, is it yesterday? I mean, these things should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad? Unheard of. Because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go a-begging. Come on. We have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. It's just because you are looking at somebody else's share, not yours. We have enough in the world. the bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution. Wait until we pass it and then we direct you to execute it. That is when you come in. That is why we are representatives of the people. So in terms of law, which is part of policy, we finalize it. And then the executive now have the authority to implement it, to execute it. Let's get this clear. Once this bill is before here, he is not in charge. I am in charge. I hope the U.S. Vice President is not yet gone, but she will read from me.
This issue of imposing on us their queer culture.
What do you mean by queer culture?
Queer culture, look, how do you see, Adam, as we sit here, you want a partner, right? You want a partner. Then you just look at this man with his dry head. Instead of cooking tea. Yeah, you see this man with his dry head and say that man to man. Or you see Saka, and you say that you want to marry Saka. It's not acceptable in any part of our African culture.
According to their culture, sexuality is a choice.
Fantastic. So keep it in your culture. Keep it in your land. Why are you imposing it on other people that is not part of their culture? If you are a Ghanaian, you are a Nigerian, and you want to enjoy your homosexuality life, jump into the countries that will tolerate you. Within our culture, it's not permissible. I have not seen any African or black man in any of the Western countries jump in to say that you have to legitimize the issue of polygamous marriage. Because in their part, it's not acceptable. And you don't see blacks jumping and saying that because it's acceptable within our culture and our traditions, we want it to be a universal problem or a universal solution so that men across the globe can decide that they can marry. Have you seen that being promoted anywhere? So why are they imposing on us what we consider as an abnormality? When people are abnormal, you grant them compassion. You want to heal them. And so where we sit in our cultural settings, we see homosexuality as an abnormality and that they need compassion and they need to be healed. We don't see it as a right. So for Kamala Harris to come and sit in Ghana and be telling us that homosexuality is a right, and President Akufo-Addo saying that we will consider those rights, President Akufo-Addo is running away.
Hello, Abusiafo. But Sunburst medicated powder. Now, on your form. Hey, say when a man in swans one years is still never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what so.
Or
don't. It's what now I'm on why you say. A crow. Sakakarere, a yam, a crow, a juniper bosso, and nunye, Sunburst medicated ointment, a bebwao.
Ma posso, to me.
Ni Pedro biye onia ments na ho ma honam ya enwu wani maase waposo complain nyina etso betwa koto Sunburst herbal balm ye woni ama papa ye from mama Sunburst products edutwem
Obenya Sunburst products our pharmacies any herbal shops at to phone friend 0554 907 393 FDA agidwadi enkratio yatum.
For the 3 nights that she spent here, she was in the arms of her husband, a man. The 3 nights that she spent here. So I was like, are we to listen to what she's saying or we are to watch what she's doing?
A handsome man.
Is it cognitive dissonance or what? You came with your husband just for 3 nights. She understood how, how important it is to be in the arms of a man as a woman. For the 3 nights, then you talk about human rights. Please, we are a sovereign country. We have our own rights. It's unfortunate our president was not bold enough as his predecessors did. But I believe majority of us do not support that and they should respect that.
Okay.
And they should also at least commensurate with us for taking our people for free labor to build their country for over 700 years, and today they feel they are in a better position to dictate to us.
Honestly speaking, and this is my vivid opinion, I really don't care what people do with their sexuality. What they do behind their closed doors, what they decide to do, what they decide to get intimate with, that's their thing. If it's in parliament and the government says they don't think that it is legal publicly, because whatever you're doing, it has to be seen or it has to be public for it to become an offense, because if it's not seen, then you know it's not illegal.
Governor, almost kabro fududo.
Almost say government for an almost say mrano. Na so mo ka say bia ye hu mo abontin say bia Maurice na say A+ any Arnold Muntimi Ware
bulldog.
Many A+.
A+ and Muntimi Ware. And no dey you need option bia say respect no, because omo no mo bumra ema yen yedi so. But honestly me say A+ say opese oni Whitney and also oni Arnold omo miensa nyina ekogu say so mo ye bibia. And only your mama said, I would respect your choice. Obi pe mango, obi pe apple. As to why I may pe mango yemi deno, I can't explain. You know, me ntia yam yemi there, but uenya wode. And I may ntia say why I will yam enya wode. But I love it. Bro, that is your. I don't have any say in your life.
Oh, manin
can say whatever decision or whatever. The opesa wo ye bia wo abrabo mu no e wa wo decision so opesa wo ko na wo ko udi ade ko bo ana oti nitia e wo decision
yen the decision
wo wi a ne etwa so no exactly into no it's not up to me wo de ne opesa wo ye no do whatever that makes you happy, but say eventually government eba out na some be catch you say e illegal say e be oba ni oba be boma na so be ma be boma only option is say wo jai into no. At this point, just like you said, we don't run the show. You won't go for a boomra, MIA so. It might seem unfair to say taxes be brave, but we don't have a choice. So it is what it is.
Asutri be war. Now, so we are Christian. Can they go and do this in the Islamic countries?
Nope.
Can they go to Morocco, Algeria? Why the nations that claim to be Christian? Because we are scared. Now, you see, when you are led by your stomach, your destination will surely be the toilet. Sorry, but that is the only way I can let you understand. A honor ding for washroom.
Sometimes so many alcohol. We did have a toilet.
I know.
You see, so we should be able to control our needs, to deny the wrong things.
Yeah.
And yes, I come do one thing. Now, if what you are doing is okay, you don't need law. Go ahead. She came at with something like that. You see, until we are radical in our, this is even traditionally not allowed.
True.
It's now all over the place, and let me tell you something. It is not about talking about it in the media. It is creeping through the educational structure.
Yeah. Yep.
So we make noise in the media, but by the time I will ban baby fear, now and no near children, and do you know? Say recently, no, the American medical, by agreement say, don't give a child a gender.
Yeah.
You abofrana and manage gender so your ba na bema cause he say onwa enya 12 to know say I want to be a boy or a girl. Hello. We want our roads and things, not men and women. God didn't create Adam and Steve. He created Adam and Eve. And like we read in Romans 1, so God gave them up. And God amponi or ye my amponi. This thing here, in fact, me, I don't know about the rest, but the color I wear is not a color that accepts that. No, you're fine, it might be. So why will I exchange You heard me.
No funny.
I'm here too.
Ingo.
So why will I exchange?
Na obefu techiwa menu eyi obi onimu de ewo maimu a okọ omasua pokese so ho no ene wo kira de wona de atodwa akirechiri mu se Ghana for yanyindum yanyimra no twumve se edwa wo baabi a opero de ne fufuo bo obi ose opefa wo fa hyehye opere nyonko ba so ne beda obi ose opere nyonko be ma so ne beda de obi antimi isi ne kwan efise omo wo yemu omo frafra yemu ya twe mu tane betene ye pa sankrofo mo ka ye ho enti yanyintum na oka asa no na lawyer for amoni a wonu so di animu pa se mbra no ye bedi atumo na tese ye sia no kwan kra se gay ni lesbian ni LGBTQ fo ye fo munya asem no wonu so eba ala ne so no chirem se obi futechu asem be na wukai na wo asem a wo ka no eye wo de na wo ka osia mimi lawyer for amoni me ye junior ntidie mi yo junior wo lomu enti wan kasankasa nyamiem ni kware nie wani mienu tuatua ma hwene santamu yi na hwe be ma na ta so dendende se ba fo besen na hwe baba wapa wo kwa na chi wo so de chede se konkonta esi trogo so no enum no de pa na ese be matimi fa no na wo ko ja no wo ko fa de aja ma me we di adabraka ene omu de buani papa na nya asem ketua sei ene ensem no ekoye
into these difficulties. You are talking about, if they are pedophilia, then they can be arrested. Do you know what homosexuals do? What are the practices of homosexuals? A lady of your age, you are saying that a man should take his penis and push it through the anus. Is the anus the orifice for sex? Madam, I'm asking you, Professor, is the anus the orifice for sex? And you're saying that, we already have them in our society. Of course we did have them in our society, but we never encouraged it. If you say you are an anthropologist, you should know that. Show me, I don't know where you come from in Ghana, but I will challenge you to show me the place where you come from in Ghana, me and you. Kafiri Kadoche, we will go there to your village. I am a Fanti man from Cape Coast. My mother is from Cape Coast. My father is from Agnodobi. We will go to your hometown, Professor, I've forgotten your name. We will go to your hometown and we will argue over there and we'll see what your people will think of you. How can you say that our culture accepts a thing like this? That a man should take his penis and put it through his feces? And a lesbian, what do lesbians do? You tell me. Lesbians open their vagina and people put all sorts of implements there. Look, let me share this with you. You're saying that it is a hate bill, it is a hate bill. By your demeanor, I feel very sorry for you, trust me. Because I have spent my money and we have built a holistic sexual therapy system. We're spending thousands of cedis on people who are into this business. The church has supported us. So we don't hate anybody. Hundreds of them come to us. 99% of them that we test, they are HIV positive. So don't sit there and tell me it is a private matter. Of course it is not private. When they get into these difficulties, we are the ones that receive them. Dr. Apia could be sitting there. He's dealing with people. He says, we put intersex. Really? You don't even know. As I said, we have deleted it from the law. In any case, who are intersex people? Do you deal with intersex people? We are dealing with intersex people as I speak. We are taking them through our medical system and we're going to take them through surgery. This poor young lady who cannot even go to school. That is the way what we are doing to respond to the problem. So don't tell us that, we hate. This is a hate bill. Hate bill from where? Who hates who? Look at you sitting down there telling us that we hate. We who are spending the money to cater for these people who need help, who are challenged. And then you are saying, let them do everything they want to do in their private, even if they're putting their penis through feces. How can that be medically right? Later on, actually. Do you know the pain that people go through?
Please allow Mr. Moni to make his point, and then we'll get ahead.
People incontinent, people who put on pampers. Have you seen a homosexual before? I am asking you, are you a homosexual yourself? Are you a lesbian? Have you seen any homosexual before? Do you know what lesbians do? Do you know what lesbians do? People are having sex through the anus. They're having sex with animals. And you are telling us that, that is fine. You are an anthropologist. Really? Anthropology that allows a man to put his penis through feces. Stanvest Healthcare.
Hello, Abusiafo. But sunburst medicated powder. Now, on your form. Hey, say when a man in swans one yes, see, never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what so.
Or
don't. It's what now I'm on why you say. A crow. Sakakare, a yam, a crow, a juniper bosso, and nunye, sunburst medicated ointment, a wow.
Ma posu, to me.
Who when Pedro be Onia, men's na home man when I'm ya and who when the massy. What posu complaining na, add so betra, Cotto sunburst herbal balm. You're from Mama Sunburst. Sunburst products, a duchum.
Obenya Sunburst products, our pharmacies, any herbal shops. To phone friend 0551 907 393. FDA, I did get the criteria too.
Onyame boni wiase ho bo ba ne bema ense sanda so our feeling this you see the problem is me feel say me your ba na excuse me, I'm sorry to say I'm not changing it from where I stand as a Christian. Nyame abo bema ne bema wan bo ba ne opa obo bema eno hu say so do ba bi pie oba di pie bema say come on me shia ba oba ye come. It takes every man to look at the woman and appreciate a woman. And it takes a woman to see a man and say, oh, come on, this is the man I want. Yeah, and compare bank or kondo map and no just say a penema, you said your money by your mass. And then so the go maybe never say, yeah, you to kondo ban or bass from we are against it, we'll be against it, yeah, per mama. Any a per man, then I'm not you are saying, I won't pay you from court, but you are seeing here. It wasn't like that. It's for the church, from where I stand. I
know I stand the risk of being misconstrued for what I'm about to say. And mumu bebre na mobe interpreting it wrongly. But I'm still going to say it anyway. You see, when it comes to same-sex marriage, I hear a lot of people say, we don't have any business what people decide to do with their sexuality. We don't care what people do behind closed doors. We all sin differently anyway. How does this even... Have you asked yourself, why is it, obi betimi akowia ade na obi so akotwa ni pati and awakoko nipa na konfo no ye be ma na bia 6 months or 1 year whatever years in prison na nipa no otwa ni pati no ni otwa ni pati medra no ya ma no life imprisonment and that's a death by hanging because boni bi wo ho emu odu sin bi. We all sin differently. But some of you are even looking at me and thinking, what moral justification or moral right does she even have to come and talk about this? TMA. There's difference between Bema Efa Neiritu behind closed doors and Bema Eda. I'm a Bible believing Christian, and my Bible didn't tell me God created Adam and Adam. Bible said God created Adam, and who said Adam needed a helper no. Needed a helper no bo Eve kan ho wan bo another Adam and kan so wan asa wan bo Eve for mienu obo Adam and Eve. What they ever say not everybody believes in the Bible krana. The health complications now you gonna have later no. What baby say uncle obi nkoye na emfa wo ho a in this African society human race na kasa say chain obi nua obi adamfo obi cousin obi nana obi auntie. Inti uka se mfa me ho obi aye bone ono benya esonso aso a enye den ya be ka some way somehow you pay with your time or your money edu baby a inti mama yenye careful wo de woni comment akase me ni comment meaning say same-sex marriage, it will be difficult. Nyami and Bemua, we can't completely eradicate it from the world. It means to us say crack. Say Hashem said the whole world more beyond worry same-sex. And the bad thing, Nyami and Bemua a bad thing. Okay, because Ghana Hashem red siakra there are other countries for okay, it's legal in other countries. It will be a person or no dear son or person yeah. We bet me if Ghana a call baby a cotton aye. Okay, I know the honomo. But by all means, no, let's try to keep it under control. Obiaya bonio, but we still internet a crime for crime officers who was near be keep it bonnie under control. So crime officer nakasa kroya bonnie. But we keep them under, we keep the crimes under control. So never embe overwhelming. So please, yeah, your voice quite channel. Let's talk about these things. Now a chairman, no man worry or bank on.
We the people put him there. Look, the danger with LGBTQ is the plus.
Why that?
Do you know what plus means? Any other thing can be added to it. So the moment you pass it, those unnatural things that will be added onto it will be forced down our throat. And let me ask the question. Is heterosexual sex, is it natural? Is it natural? Heterosexual sex is natural, isn't it? Between a man and a woman. It's natural, isn't it? Homosexual sex, is it natural?
No.
It's not. Why isn't it natural?
Unnatural kind of knowledge. I mean, per the law, of course, which is where it comes in.
I'm building my case.
Okay.
When God created man and woman, did he say, you should procreate? And did he not give the way of procreating? Even flies procreate. When they procreate, do they procreate with each other in terms of male to male, female to female? Do they do that? Can you procreate if you are male to male? Can you? Is it possible? So it's unnatural. So when the president now tells us that at the present moment there is no law that governs this type of thing, he was being economical with the truth. Go to the criminal code.
Hello, Abusiafo. But Sunburst medicated powder. Now, on your form. Hey, say when a man in swans one yes, see, never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what so.
Or
don't. It's what now I'm why you say. A crow. Sakakare, a yam, a crow, a juniper de aboso, and only Sunburst medicated ointment, a bebwao.
Maposu, to me.
Who when Pedro be onia meant na ho ma honam ya enhu wani maase what poso complaining na et so betwa koto Sunburst herbal balm ye from mama Sunburst products edutwem
Obenya Sunburst products our pharmacies any herbal shops at to phone friend 0551 907 393 FDA agidwadi enkra atuya tum